Hello and thanks for joining us for our mid-morning edition of Arirang News. I'm Mark Broom. Let's dive straight into the day's headlines. With the Lunar New Year holiday just a matter of days away, President Moon Jae-in is set to call on officials to ensure people in South Korea have an affordable and safe New Year break. North Korea taking a new path. The regime is swapping out its foreign minister. We'll take a look at what the fresh face could bring to the table as the North seems to be erring on the side of resuming talks with the US. Plus, start of an epidemic. China now confirms around 200 people have been diagnosed with the new form of viral pneumonia that has killed 2 patients since it first emerged just last month. Our top story this morning, President Moon Jae-in will be chairing a weekly meeting with his top aides this afternoon, where he's largely expected to talk about inter-Korean cooperation, but also the local economy as well. And with the Lunar New Year holiday set to begin on Friday, the president is likely to call on his top aides to keep an eye on the people's livelihoods. Attention is on whether the president will mention further inter-Korean cooperation as well. Seoul's Unification Ministry announced last week that individual tourism is not subject to sanctions, and the South Korean government is reviewing whether to allow South Koreans to visit the North individually. Now, North Korea appears to have flipped out its old foreign minister with a fresh face, signalling, perhaps anyway, that the regime's policies towards South Korea and the US could be about to change. Our Lee Seung-jae takes a look at what this could mean for North Korea, US talks, as well as its ties that have become rather strained over recent months with South Korea.
According to an informed source in Seoul on Sunday, North Korea has notified foreign ambassadors in Pyongyang of its recent decision to appoint a new foreign minister. The source says Lee Seung-kwon will be the regime's new top envoy after the notification was made a few days ago. This official appointment could come as quickly as this week. Lee Seung-kwon will replace Lee Young-ho, signaling that the North may reshape its policies towards Seoul and Washington.
The appointment of a military hardliner who has no diplomatic experience seems to be intended to open the door to dialogue with the US and to launch for a frontal breakthrough on denuclearization after getting a security guarantee.
Lee was previously the head of the North Korean delegation to high-level talks with South Korea, including the meeting in August 2018, which ultimately led to President Moon Jae-in's summit with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un in the North's capital the following month. However, besides his career dealing with the South, little has been known about his professional experience in the field of foreign affairs. His appointment also comes as Seoul has renewed its commitment to improving inter-Korean ties amid stalled nuclear talks between the US and North Korea, and the widening difference between Seoul and Washington over their approach towards Pyongyang. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
A rescue mission to find 4 South Korean climbers and 3 local guides was put on hold Sunday as more avalanches descended on a popular trekking route in Nepal. Now, the rescue will resume today as the weather is starting to clear. The South Korean embassy in Nepal said Sunday that 6 to 10 rescuers from the local police had been deployed to join the search, and they are considering deploying helicopters as well, more helicopters. However, rescuers say that even if the weather clears, it could take several weeks for the snow to melt, hampering the overall operation. The missing South Koreans are 2 women in their 30s and 50s and 2 men in their 50s who were part of a small team of South Koreans who are in Nepal for volunteer work. 5 other South Koreans are safe and seeking shelter in a lodge. Last Friday's avalanche struck the famous Mount Annapurna circuit climbing route. Family members of the missing South Koreans have arrived in Kathmandu alongside South Korean officials sent to help with rescue efforts. The founder and honorary chairman of Lotte Group, Shin Kyuk-ho, passed away on Sunday at the age of 97. During a remarkable life of mostly ups, but some downs as well, he built what was just a little-known chewing gum maker into the 5th biggest conglomerate in South Korea. Kan Hyung-woo reports.
Some called him the CEO of the Korea Strait, the sea passage between South Korea and Japan, as he took care of business in Korea during odd-numbered months while doing the same thing in Japan during the other months. He was Lotte Group founder Shin Kyuk-ho, who died of a chronic illness on Sunday at the age of 97. Born during Japan's colonial rule over Korea, Shin established Lotte in Tokyo in 1948 as a small chewing gum manufacturer. 19 years later, he returned to his home country to expand his business. Lotte is now South Korea's fifth largest conglomerate with wide-ranging operations from cinemas, hotels, and theme parks to oil and chemical factories. Shin was among the last of a generation of entrepreneurs who saw their businesses thrive on the back of government support and a fast-growing economy. With Shin's death, all the founders of South Korea's top 5 conglomerates, Samsung, Hyundai, LG, Lotte, and SK, have passed away. The Federation of Korean Industries said Shin's devotion to South Korea was crucial for the country's economic revival and helped rebuild the economy from the ashes of the Korean War. The Korea Chamber of Commerce and Industry said the late Lotte Group founder laid the groundwork for South Korea's food, retail, and tour industries with his pioneering investments and aggressive management. However, Lotte, like many other powerful family-controlled groups known as chaebol, could not avoid corruption scandals and a bitter family dispute over ownership and succession. In 2015, a fight for control of the group broke out between his 2 sons, Shin Dong-ju and Shin Dong-bin, putting the company in a risky position. 2 years later, Shin Kyuk-ho himself was sentenced to 4 years in prison after being convicted of embezzlement and breach of trust. Kanyong, Arirang News.
Now, on a lighter and happier note, the South Korean men's under-23 football team is just now 1 win away from earning a ticket to the 2020 Tokyo Summer Olympics after they defeated Jordan on Sunday thanks to a dramatic last-minute goal after taking an early 1-0 lead. Through Jo Gyu-song's goal in the 15th minute, Jordan levelled things up at 1 apiece in the 75th minute. However, with 4 minutes added to the end of the 90 due to injury time, South Korean midfielder Lee Dong-young scored an amazing free kick, bursting into the net in the 94th minute to give South Korea the last gasp victory. The Taeguk Warriors now face off against Australia on Wednesday in the semi-finals of the AFC Under-23 Championship and need a victory to ensure they'll be heading to Tokyo in the summer. And South Korean director Bong Joon-ho's black comedy Parasite has won yet another prize, but this time it's not for the director himself. He won't be picking up the trophy himself. The American cinema editors gave the Best Edited Feature Film honor to Yang Jin-mo, making the South Korean editor and Parasite the first foreign film to win the award in the ceremony's 70-year-long history. Since winning the Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival in May last year, Parasite has emerged as a serious contender for Oscar glory at next year's Academy Awards after earning 6 nominations. Parasite has claimed dozens of prizes in the US, including the Best Foreign Language Film honor at the recent Golden Globe Awards. Now, over the weekend and earlier today, many more pneumonia cases were confirmed by China, and this is raising concerns clearly for not just Chinese health authorities, but health authorities around the world. At this point, for more on this and other news from around the world, let's turn to our Yoon Jung-min. Jung-min, this virus now, we can safely say, is spreading quickly.
Well, that's right, Mark. Concerns are rising as more pneumonia cases were confirmed in the Chinese city of Wuhan. According to Wuhan health authorities, the total number of confirmed cases soared to 198 over the weekend. So far, 3 people have died from the virus, 9 are in critical condition. 2 cases were confirmed in Beijing and 1 in Guangdong. Outside the country, 2 cases have been confirmed in Thailand and 1 in Japan. Those people are believed to be either from Wuhan or have recently visited there. The World Health Organization said on Sunday that some of the new cases do not seem to be linked to the Huanan seafood market, believed to be the center of the outbreak. China's National Health Commission said Sunday that it will tighten its guard over the Lunar New Year while paying close attention to the development of the epidemics. The Lunar New Year holiday begins later this week in China, when millions of people will be traveling. This raises concerns about the virus spreading to other regions or countries. Wuhan officials said they are tightening screening at airports and passenger terminals in the city. Experts say the virus belongs in the same family of coronavirus as SARS, though little is known about how easily it can be transmitted between humans. In the UK, Prince Harry and his wife Meghan will no longer be working members of the British royal family from this spring. Buckingham Palace announced Saturday that the couple will no longer use their Royal Highness titles and won't receive public money. A palace spokeswoman said they will also repay the cost of refurbishing their cottage in Windsor, which is about £2.4 million or some $3.1 million US. In a statement, the Queen added Harry, Meghan, and their baby son will always be much-loved members of her family. Elon Musk's SpaceX successfully completed the test of its crew capsule on Sunday, mimicking an emergency escape. The test was a milestone for sending humans to the space, as it was completed before launching astronauts in the next few months. Launched from Kennedy Space Center in Florida, Sunday's test was conducted without any actual humans on board, only with 2 mannequins. During the 9-minute flight, the Dragon crew capsule separated from the exploding rocket and safely parachuted down into the Atlantic.
Now, we normally associate artificial intelligence with smart speakers or voice assistants that we use on our phones or in our homes as well. But as AI technology becomes part of pretty much all our household gadgets and smart devices these days, our homes themselves are set to become what you could essentially call one big intelligent robot itself. Oh Soo-young has this report.
Imagine walls that detect your mood and play a fitting song, and fridges that tell your oven to heat up your meal without you having to utter a word. Over the next decade, your home is set to grow smarter and smarter, becoming a connected hub of devices powered by artificial intelligence. The smart home market is expected to grow by nearly 18% a year to more than $141 billion by 2023. Tech products close to hitting the market were shown at the Consumer Electronics Show this month, including AI yoga mats and fridges that recognise the food they're storing to draw up personal shopping lists and recipes.
With the constant improvement of deep learning and machine learning, AI is expected to evolve from simply responding to your commands and learning about your preferences to actually anticipating your needs and working actively to improve all aspects of your life.
A research lab at Brown University led by Stephanie Tellix is already looking at this future.
So our goal is to make complex autonomous robots that are capable of high-level behaviors autonomously without a person teleoperating them, and that are helpful, that are useful to people, that can do things for people that they care about to make their lives better.
Robotic arms today can help cook, clean and make drinks, and help those with physical constraints reach and grasp objects in the house. But they can only fulfill tasks they're programmed to do or need to be controlled by a human. So the challenge is getting them to think and move on their own. The lab is training a robotic arm to shut a microwave door on its own based on AI algorithms.
Like if you drop the robot in a new house, all of the objects it encounters are going to be new. So it's going to have some idea of how to interact with them, but not the precise motor commands that will generate exactly the behavior it wants. So this is a way to generate a good initial guess at that behavior and then learn the rest of that behavior in an efficient way.
Telix's lab is also working on ways to improve human-robot interaction, training AI to understand human language, as well as non-verbal cues and gestures. As various robots and smart devices become connected inside the home itself is becoming a robot, accommodating us in new intelligent ways. Oh Soo-young, Arirang News.
Now, staying with tech news, a recent forum here in Seoul has been showcasing some of the latest technology from South Korea's bio industry, sensors that can improve golfers' swings and headsets that can move drones using your brain waves. Yes, you heard that correct. Were among some of the biggest hits. What an amazing advancement we're going through technology-wise at the moment, and South Korea really is leading the way. Jo Sung-min with more.
This is a newly unveiled technology developed by a local biotech firm. The wearable sensor evaluates a golfer's swings and provides solutions for their long games. After reading the user's swing mechanism, the sensor compares it to the swings and movements of professional golfers previously compiled and saved. Another high-end technology allows users to control drones using their brainwaves. The headset picks up the user's brainwaves and delivers signals to the drones.
The technology's ability to measure brainwaves has been improved significantly. We also developed ways to apply AI technology to the brainwave analyzing program. It enables users to control the drones more precisely.
These technologies were newly demonstrated at a bioforum that took place in Seoul. Researchers and industry insiders from all over the world were present to learn more about how some state-of-the-art developments have been successfully commercialized. South Korea's Science and ICT Minister said that close cooperation between related parties and a reliable system that guarantees investments are key components for the industry to bloom.
The nation's biosector can continue to grow by establishing a strong network between the government, institutions, firms and researchers. It also needs to create a healthy cycle involving technology developments and reinvestments.
Industry experts say some of the newly showcased technologies during the event have the potential to be applied in products that can become readily available for consumers. Jo Sung-min, Arirang News.
Now it's Monday, and that means it's time for our weekly Life and Info segment where we focus on information we do hope will be useful for your everyday life. Now, the number of stroke patients tends to rise with the cold weather, unfortunately. Because strokes usually happen suddenly, it's important to get treated as soon as the symptoms appear. Park Se-young has this report.
There are two types of stroke: ischemic, which results from blockages or blood clots, and hemorrhagic, caused by ruptures of blood vessels. It's estimated that more than 80% of strokes are ischemic. The number of stroke patients begins to rise from October when cold weather begins, and it peaks in January. Strokes usually happen suddenly, which is why it's important to go to a major hospital and get treated as soon as symptoms appear. Depriving the brain tissue of the necessary oxygen and nutrients for more than 6 hours can cause brain cells to die.
Medication can be injected to quickly unclog blood vessels. Mechanical thrombectomy is a procedure in which a machine removes a blood clot from a blood vessel.
The time it takes to get to the hospital often determines a stroke patient's state after treatment. The first 3 hours after the onset of a stroke is considered the golden time. Those treated within 90 minutes can reduce the chance of recurrence by about 25%. To prevent strokes, it's important to try to lower blood pressure and cholesterol levels as well as manage diabetes. People should also quit smoking, drink less, and exercise. Park Se-young, Arirang News.
Some good tips there on how to stay healthy. Now, the cost of dining out here in South Korea is on the rise, unfortunately, and this, of course, adds extra burden on households who might have tight budgets. According to the Korea Consumer Agency, the price of popular dishes rose by between 1% and 7% over the past year. The price of black bean noodles, which are very popular here, recorded the sharpest rise, up 7.2% actually from the previous year. Of the 8 most popular menus, the price of pork belly dropped 3.2% on increased supply and also the impact of swine fever here in the country. Looks delicious. Food companies like McDonald's and Coca-Cola have also been upping their prices as well in South Korea, with the industry attributing the hike to higher labour and ingredient costs. Now, as we touched upon, Lunar New Year is just around the corner, and Seoul City will run extra subway trains and buses during the holidays, according to a special policy measure announced by the Seoul Metropolitan Government. The operating hours of subways and buses will be extended on this Saturday and Sunday, running until 2 a.m. Korea time. There will also be a 19% increase in express and intercity buses from Thursday to Monday, as well as an extra 72 late-night buses and 3,000 extra late-night taxis. It can be quite difficult to catch a cab in Seoul at night sometimes. Real-time traffic information can be found at the Transport Operation and Information Service website or through their phone application. So, Seollal starts on Friday. It's also known as the Lunar New Year. People getting ready to have 4 days off straight, hopefully. To celebrate the occasion, traditional markets here in Seoul are offering some special events to visitors. Our Ji-young has this report.
Visitors at Gachisan Traditional Market line up to get some free tteokguk, a soup that contains sliced rice cakes and sliced beef to celebrate Seollal.
I like it. It's chilly here, but this hot tteokguk warms me up.
Traditional markets across South Korea are filled with visitors at this time of the year as they go shopping to prepare dozens of dishes for an ancestral rite called charye, during which Koreans pay respect to their late ancestors. As the Seollal holiday runs from Friday until next Monday, 140 traditional markets in Seoul are offering discounts of up to 50% until the start of the holiday in a bid to attract more customers. Gwangjang Market, one of the oldest and largest traditional markets in South Korea, is in the Seollal mood as well. A professional hanbok designer has set up a dressing room at the market's entrance for visitors to try out their favorite hanbok attire.
It's been incredible. I've never really done this thing in my home country. This is the first time I've ever sort of experienced this sort of stuff, and I'll be looking forward to when I come back.
Customers dressed up in hanbok enjoy taking pictures. Wearing their hanbok, they get a spin of the roulette wheel where special perks and gift certificates are written in the different slots. Traditional markets are not only offering discounts and perks, but are also hosting events including Korean traditional games to get visitors into the holiday spirit. A shopping district near Hanyang University is hosting special events for visitors, including Yunnori, a Korean traditional board game using 4 sticks. Guests also play the traditional game Taegi, where players kick a tassel up in the air and juggle it with their feet to prevent it hitting the ground. To relieve visitors' parking problems, many traditional markets are also offering free parking until the Seollal holiday ends. Ji-young, Arirang News.
Good morning. It's Daean today, the coldest day of the year according to the traditional calendar, but it will not live up to its name this time. Temperatures will be hovering way above the norms for this time of year, but do expect a brief cold snap tomorrow morning. But it's the dusty air we cannot cope with. Most regions will be choking under bad air all day with an ultrafine dust advisory in place in many western parts of the country. So we should avoid outdoor activities despite sunnier skies and mild daily highs today. And top numbers will range between 4 and 10 degrees Celsius, while central inland regions, including parts of Gyeonggi-do and Gangwon-do provinces, could see a mix of rain and snow flurries. This week, we have Seollal, or Lunar New Year in Korea, which is one of the most celebrated national holidays here. It's forecast to be a rather cloudy Seollal holiday this year, with rain in store across much of the country. That's Korea for you, and here's the international weather for viewers around the world.
Well, that's all we have for now on this Monday morning here in Seoul, South Korea. Stay tuned to Arirang TV, and a reminder that our next newscast, that is coming up at noon Korea time. So until then, goodbye.